This week we're going to color our landscape, cityscape, seascape picture with crayons and markers. If you don't have crayons and markers, you could use markers and colored pencils, but you don't want to use crayons and colored pencils because they look too similar. We're going to color one of our scapes using only markers, one of our scapes using only crayons, and then the third scape we will color using a combination of crayons and markers. We're going to color our seascape using markers only. On this picture you will have a few things that you're going to leave white. So you're going to leave the white caps of the waves, that top part where we drew the bumpy lines, those should stay white. And then also on the volcano you can leave above the zigzag line, that's the snow on it, you can leave that white. Or if you want it to look like lava, feel free to color it red. When you're coloring the waves, make sure you do a pattern for the stripes. You can do this with dark blue and light blue, or if you don't have two different values of blue markers, you could use blue and green. Then choose a color for the sky. Do not use blue because that would just be way too much blue in your picture. So maybe think about the colors you might see in a sunset. So use your good craftsmanship and color the seascape using markers only. Now we're going to color our cityscape using a combination of crayons and markers. The easiest way to go about this is by using crayons to color the windows. That way when you go to color your buildings with markers, if you bump into the windows, the wax from the crayon will resist the watercolor of your markers. Color all your buildings with crayon and marker, and then I recommend crayon for the sky because you can mix two colors together to really make the sky stand out from the buildings. Make sure you color this entire section. Don't leave any uncolored spaces. Do your best to stay inside the lines and fill in all the peekaboos. Now for the landscape, you're going to use crayon only. I want you to make each hill a mixture of at least two colors. You may use more than two, but not less. You can add two colors by coloring as a pattern in between your rows, or you could add two colors by coloring lightly with one color and then coloring lightly on top of that, coloring in the opposite direction with a second color. Think about colors that you might see on the ground for some ideas, or you could even try mixing colors together that you wouldn't normally think of as colors you would see on the ground. I recommend on one of the hills you try mixing all three primary colors, red, yellow, and blue, together. I bet you're really going to like the results. Remember, you must color this entire section, filling in all the peekaboos and staying inside the lines using crayon only for the landscape. Once you have finished your entire paper, nothing is white except for on the seascape. We have a couple things there, but everything else has to be colored. Then you may take a photograph of your art and submit it to Canvas.